Okay. Is we live? Are we? I know we are, but I just want to double check. Welcome to the live. Anybody who's new and old people, welcome to the live as well. I hope you guys are enjoying your time wherever you are. Bish, I know I am. Because I'm just busy stuck into my creative gifts and talents. Busy stuck into my creative gifts and talents. Helping myself to evolve and take myself to the next freaking level as I usually do, try to do every single day on a daily basis, okay? So you should be too. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. I'm just gonna get our chat up in case we do see anybody else. Tools, profile, view. I don't know how to get the chat. Anywho, let's just get the YouTube video up, and that should do the trick. So at least if anyone comes in, I can see the chat, because I like to see the chat. I like to be able to reply most of the time. Sometimes I need to get off the distraction, like get into the traction. But other than that, okay. We got the chat here. We got the video. We got the scenario on deck. Okay, so today, guys, I wanted to, as you can tell from the title, talk about what I've learned so far as being a YouTuber, or regardless, no, I'm not going to go into YouTuber because I've done many different things. I've done live streaming on Bigo, I've done TikTok videos, I've done YouTube videos, I've done Twitch streaming for a little bit, which wasn't very long, so I don't know if that counts. Also, like, my skin is low-key glowing a little bit. Anyways, so I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience, especially because it's been about 3 or 4 months, maybe 5 even, since I've actually started making content regularly online. So I wanted to give a little backstory about, well, if anyone's new, a little tiny backstory about what made me even get into content in the first place. So let's get started into that, all right? So when I first started getting into content, it was initially one of the main reasons for me. I'd been thinking about it for years. I'd gotten told by so many people that I should be making content. I gotten told by people from school, teachers, friends, strangers, acquaintances, like you name it. Pretty much everyone in my life would say at least in one way or another that they would enjoy to see me making content or up on some kind of platform, right? And that wasn't really the main thing for me, but the main thing for me was that my life kept showing me circumstances of this, because especially for me and growing up in my life, no matter what situation it was, I'd always find myself in some kind of circumstance of being a teacher to someone or being a guide in some way, shape, or form. All right. So for me, like, making content is just kind of like an add on to what I already do, if that makes sense. Because behind closed doors, now, some people might hear this, some people might know me from my personal life, and they might think otherwise, but I will argue with this as well. Even in the times where I may not have been seen as a teacher or a guide, a lot of the circumstances and situations that I was in were still me teaching and showing someone how to do or how not to do something. So it doesn't matter which side of the spectrum I was on, I've always been in that perspective of being a teacher and being a guide in its truest sense. Whether I'm flunked out as a motherfucker and I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing, or whether I am actually like aware and teaching consciously when I'm going through my certain circumstances. So either way, it doesn't matter. Double-sided coin, double-edged sword, whatever you want to look at it, I always have the teaching sword. So for me, it was more of a matter of, okay, well, when are you going to actually implement this and put your teaching out on the forefront rather than just keep it in your day-to-day life? Because to me, it felt like more something that I had to share to the world rather than to keep it behind closed doors. Didn't seem right to me because just the stuff that I knew and meeting a lot of people in my life, I know a lot of people in my life don't necessarily have access to a lot of the stuff that I know. Or if they do have access to it, they're not privy to that regardless. So for me, it's kind of like being a bridge between worlds, I guess you could say. Especially because nowadays in modern times, everybody is kind of doing everything. Like people are so worked up and focused on their whatever they've got in mind in terms of their goals, and so in essence, it really just becomes a bit difficult to involve myself into everyday endeavors with teaching in mind when a lot of people are just so focused on their own stuff and very, if I could even like say this, obviously I could say it, I don't know why I haven't said that, very like preoccupied. And like this world, especially in modern times, a lot of people are preoccupied with whatever it may be. But a lot of people are just in that preoccupied kind of energy and space in general. So the the it became more and more pressing for me to focus on what I had to do, focus on what my passions and my goals were, because if everyone else is going to be preoccupied, you know, I need to preoccupy myself with something, and especially keeping in mind manifestation and everything else, it's very important that I manifest the circumstances and the situations that I want to manifest rather than like bullshit. So, and I want to actually go back on this because I said preoccupy myself. That also implies and gives off the implication that I had no life, which, you know what, arguably, I probably didn't actually back then, now looking back at it. So yeah, in a way, it was for me to kind of give myself a sense of purpose, a sense of passion about doing what I love to do, which is talking about everything I talk on here: life, spirituality, creativity, individuality, which is spirituality. Spirituality just means your individuality. So if you thought it meant anything different, if you thought it meant being holy and being godly and blah blah blah, you got something messed up there. Spirituality is just your individuality at the end of the day. So the more you start to realize that, the more you get attuned with your spirit and your individuality, your spirituality. So regardless, when it comes to the things that I'm talking about right now, all of this stuff led me to wanting to post on YouTube. So that's a little bit of a short intro into why I even started making content. Main thing for me, manifestation, expressing my individuality and my spirituality, getting a life, like those kind of stuff. So this was a kind of ground basis. And also I wanted to like give myself an opportunity and a platform to improve my skills in many different areas. And I think that making content gives you the opportunity to explore and improve many different aspects of areas when it comes to your skills. And I'm a jack of all trades, master of all kind of motherfucker. Like I don't like to be the master of none. Jack of all trades, master of all. So that's the vibe I want to go for. And that's usually how I like to correlate my life. So when it comes to making YouTube, ever since starting that, I've noticed a massive improvement, like the biggest improvement in a lot of my skills than I think probably I've seen in a long time, or if not my whole life. So I've seen my ability to speak improve, my ability to overcome my fears have improved, which isn't really a skill or anything, but still, it's something worth noting. And as well, I've developed a better ability at being able to freestyle even. I've developed a better ability at being able to read. That was a massive thing for me because I started doing a lot of readings on here. My reading has exponentially grown. And this is just partly due to the fact that I put in so much time and energy work into it, beyond even YouTube as well. But even beyond that, it's just partly due to the fact that I really took the time to take care of and manifest the things that I wanted to create in my reality. So without me putting in all that time and that work, I wouldn't have seen the fruits of my labor. I wouldn't have seen the fruit that I bear. I would have just been sitting around like, oh, I see potential in this area of my life, but I don't know how to go about it. And that was always my issue back before I made content and stuff like that. Or not even before I made content, like before I started getting more spiritually aware or aware of my own individuality. So the more I started to kind of get at this YouTube game and that this content creation game, it really gave me that one up for myself. Like, not only now do I have like kind of ability to be able to constantly like see my progress online because it's there, it's permanent now, but not only that, I'm now giving the opportunity to have a gauge of where I can improve and where I maybe need to improve on, and where I maybe am all right in, and I can kind of chill and relax on that area, right? So this is really like kind of giving me a good glimpse and a grasp into my own mind and my own inner self and my own individuality, for me to be able to be like, oh, okay, yep, this is something that I need to do, and this is something that I don't need to do. So in a way, I kind of gave myself a more sense of direction too, because I even had that intention in mind. I wanted to have a more purpose and direction with the way I went about things. And so even in just doing YouTube, because I had that intention in the back of my mind, now what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to develop and get ideas and feelings from YouTube, from content creation, to give myself a sense of direction. So it's come full circle for me, and it's really become like a snowball kind of effect where I just constantly see myself improving and growing every single day when it comes to this stuff. And stay tuned, because you guys will see me improve and grow too. If you love to see people improve and grow, you're gonna love my channel. I'm not telling you that, because my channel is all about that shit. It's all about that growth. It's all about that consistency, sticking at your goals. Fixated Taurus kind of energy mixed with that Gemini Sun, mutable air. I'm like showing you the different ways of being fixated and consistent and stable. And showing it in my own individuality, but from a multifaceted Geministic point of view, or Gemini-like point of view. So, and as well, I've got a Sagittarius moon. So, I'm teaching about it, like my moon, how I react and respond. It's a teaching moment. Like, even if I wasn't to say words about teaching and stuff like that, everything that I say and emit out of my mouth, you can already tell there's a lesson to be learned from it. So doesn't matter which way you look at it. And then I got the Aries rising too. Don't even get me started. But yeah, when it comes to my energies that I've utilized, don't get me wrong, like I've had so many struggles, so many hiccups, so many moments where I've thought to myself, okay, well, what should I do? Or what do I do? Why am I doing this? Like, blah, 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 kind of questioning. Like, don't get me wrong, they're not big moments. So don't get it twisted and think that those are big moments for me. Those are very insignificant times in my life, but they still exist. So I just want to make that a clear point. But at the start, they were a lot bigger than they are now. And that's been a massive thing for me too, is really like diminishing and locking up my demons, which is just my aspects of myself that are holding me back from achieving my truest self and achieving connection with my spirituality in its truest form, aka expressing my individuality in its truest form. So the more that I do that, or the more that I'm doing that, I start to notice myself get closer and closer to my spirituality. And of course, in my normal life, I still always saw improvements. I always saw different aspects of myself growing, expanding, and so on and so forth. But YouTube has kind of skyrocketed that. And it's funny as well because like I don't really tend to get many views now on my YouTube videos, but if anything, that helps me more because now it gives me a kind of opportunity to be able to like do that internal battle and fight against any part of myself that may crave or feel like I need some form of validation. And again, this is just all opportunities for me to help me learn and grow. And this is why I love making YouTube videos, because I just constantly see room for improvement, and not in a negative way, in a way that's like really beneficial for my mental health and my physical health too. So, and I'm not saying, again, this doesn't just mean, oh, like you should instantly start becoming a content creator because it'll fix all your problems. Because I feel like some people are starting to get this cooked up in their head. Like if I listen to this guy and I make content, then all my problems will be solved. No, you need to be aware of your individuality, what you're drawn to, and what really resonates with your spirit. And that will be the thing that leads you down a similar path to me. How I store my improvements from YouTube and so on and so forth. You can see your improvements in your own area, but as long as you know what's true for you and follow your individuality, then that's what matters the most. It's all about the mental space. It's not about the physical thing that someone is doing. Like it didn't have to be content creation for me. It could have been any area of my life, like music production, for example, because I like to produce music. Stay tuned. I'm going to release some instrumentals as well. But when it comes to my music, all of my music that I do has been really massive growth for me too, because it teaches me to be accepting of my individual expression, my creativity, which is my spirituality. So the more I get in tune with my creativity, the more in tune I am with my spirituality too. So it just becomes like this snowball effect where I'm bouncing off YouTube or content creation, and I'm also bouncing off music production, and I'm also bouncing off my other creative outlets, which may not even have anything to do with art, but just the fact that I'm creatively thinking of different ways to adapt and change every single day. That's a creative gift in itself. So the more I start to focus on these things, the more it kind of bounces off each other and snowballs. And I'm just saying, oh, don't mind me, guys. I don't know why. Whenever I go on YouTube, I start yawning. I won't be yawning for the whole entire day. And then I get on YouTube and I start yawning out of nowhere. Like, I really don't know what's going on there. I mean, I have theories, but I'm not going to say it right now. Anyways, so when it comes to these things, as you can tell, they've been massive helps for me, right? And what I've learned so far is that no matter what you do, just make sure the intention behind it is really what you're putting the utmost importance to. What is the intention behind it? Okay, is it for a self-serving kind of energy? Is it for a negative kind of energy, an egotistical kind of space? Or is it because you want to develop and grow and expand as a spirit, become more free, become more light, and let go of old paradigms, old mentalities, old shapes and forms? Honey, if it's for the second one that I just mentioned, you're on your way, because at the end of the day, when you do things for material gain only, and you do things for like stupid material things in reality, and it's not saying that it's bad to want material things. We all want some kind of material thing. We all like and dislike certain things in material. So we're not disregarding those aspects of ourselves. but it's talking about when these things are the forefront of everything you do, this only leads to disappointment because you're constantly expecting to get a material, and you don't always get a material from certain circumstances. What I've been telling you this whole entire video is non-related to material, but these are forms of abundance that like I could not even put a price to, because a lot of people go chasing and looking for all kinds of things in their reality, but they might not even ever reach this form of abundance that I'm talking about right now. They might not even see it as abundance, but this is what abundance is. It's not money, it's not financial shit, it's not materiality. Abundance is more, it goes deeper. When you have an abundance of something, it doesn't have to be even a physical, tangible thing, right? You just know you have an abundance of that thing. So it could be intelligence, it could be beauty, it could be like beauty is physical, but you know, you get the idea. When you have an abundance of something, you got an abundance of something. You rich, bitch. Okay, so it doesn't matter what anyone thinks or sees about you, you're rich. So know that. But yeah, a lot of people might just get so lost into the physical. They'll be like, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting blah, 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 I'm not getting... But then you're not realizing how much you've actually grown. You're not noticing how much you've actually expanded as a spirit, how much you've actually let go of and shed in order to bring a new awareness and a new mentality to your life. You're not noticing any of these things because your mind is so focused on the material object. So this is what people are talking about when they say you're lost in material gain or lost in materialistic ideals. This is everything that they're talking about. It's you are only able to focus on the material form of abundance. So this leads you to not being able to notice emotional forms of abundance, logical forms of abundance, any other form of abundance that doesn't relate to materiality. All of this shit you're not actually doing or not actually noticing because you are just so caught up in the material realm. And this is where spirits get lost and lost for ages because they just don't know how to get out of it or what to focus on or where to go. And I'm here to tell you right now, if you've freaking got ears to listen or if you've got eyes to hear and ears to see, honey, you're getting lost into the physical. Watch it over if you need to. So yeah, when it comes to these abundances that we have in life, this is the real abundance. This is the real richness. Anything else, you're actually broke. You may think you're rich, you know, because you have a fucking Chevy or a Porsche. But if you don't have anything that I'm talking about right now, you're poor, you're broke. You're good as dirt to me. Like, and that's not in a way, I'm not looking down on anyone, but physically you don't have anything. Mentally, emotionally, you don't have anything. You just have that essence of you gained something from your physical reality. So that's why I say it's like dirt. Like it's like, okay, like it's like me picking up a piece of dirt. Like, but like let's say like this dirt was like really valuable and like I don't know, like as valuable as a diamond. Okay, but you still picked up a piece of dirt though. You know what I mean? Like, don't get it twisted just because it's a shiny like bit. Like, it still came from the ground where everything else is dirty and it's dirt and it's gravel. You know, like same with cars. Like that's why I'm pretty actually intelligent that I even use the car allegory, because the car is like literally made out of metal. It literally came from the ground, dirt. You know what I mean? So when you like put your value onto things like that, that's like literally like dirt. Need I say it again? Nah. That's literally like dirt, you know, then like how many times do you have to go through experiences before you start to realize the value doesn't lie there? The value doesn't lie there, mate. The value lies in here. It always did. And people may hear that and be like, oh, that's cliche. And no, it's not. It's fucking truer than life. And if you think that's cliche, you haven't been through life enough, and you're actually not as mature as you think you are. But anyways, sorry about my aggression, guys. Sometimes it gets out. I get a little bit passionate. I think that might be my Aries rising, the first house Aries. But you guys can obviously tell that my aggression is quite tamed because I have a Taurus sun, so it comes through very Venus-like. My aggression comes through very like beautiful, so where other people they might be aggressive, it might be received positively, but it also might be seen as in an ugly light or an aggressive light, right? For me, like, because I got the Taurus sun, like, my aggression can be seen as like beautiful or alluring or pleasurable, so you might enjoy hearing me be aggressive, because like my Aries in the first house and my Taurus sun. But anyways, regardless, yeah, when it comes to all these things, these are really just like all the kind of processes mentally that I've gone through on my journey of making content. And I actually want to keep doing little videos like this, or at least do a few, where I can kind of give updates on my journey and where I'm at mentally and spiritually, so that I can kind of give a good gauge to my audience of what's going on. But not giving too much away, because I don't want to give my whole life away. But yeah, when it comes to these kind of stuff, don't mind me scratching, guys, sorry. It's unsultry. Nah. So yeah, when it comes to this stuff, really I had like a whole other point of this video. Like I really wanted to talk about spirituality, how spirituality like changes your mentality the more you get in tune with your creative and your spiritual self. But I think I'll leave that for another video now that I'm talking about it out loud. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little short video. I'll keep it short and sweet like this one for this time. But I will see you guys for the next video, and peace.